Well, hey there, how's it going? So I recently spent 42 days in Japan, and as part of that trip, I rented a motorcycle for a couple days.
Welcome to Japan, everybody. This is Route 494, and we're heading over Kuromori Pass right now. I think that stands for Black Forest.
And so those videos are already out now if you'd like to watch them. But, well, many people didn't, I'll be honest, and that's fine. But this was the best opportunity now that the series is over to kind of to share my opinion, I should say, of what did I feel about the BMW 310 GS. That was my rental bike of choice. And is it a bike that I'd recommend that you buy? Well, honestly, yes, but it depends on your goals, of course. The BMW 310 GS, it's a very comfortable bike on the street. I mean, definitely road-oriented from factory settings. And it handles like a dream. I mean, that bike can corner.
Look, I'm on a kart track here. This is cool.
That bike just makes it just comfortable all day. I mean, most of my days were 10-hour days in 110-degree weather, mind you. So very hot, but I never got tired of being on the bike. It was very comfortable.
As comfort goes, I mean, I've been riding this for 2 days straight. I've put about 500 kilometers on it. That's you know, at least 2 8-hour days, if not more. Probably 10-hour days actually. And yeah, I mean, I don't feel any worse off than my KLR seat does, and I'm not even wearing my padded shorts. Yeah, it's comfortable. It's got very little wind buffeting too, so I think this is a joy to ride on the freeway so far. Mind you that in Japan, the speed limits are seldom more than 50 miles per hour. So I haven't had a true interstate highway test with it at 70 miles an hour or more. But anyways, I have never complained about the wind buffeting on it. So yeah, it's a very comfortable bike to ride on the street. That's definitely its bias, and I think it's for someone who just wants to kind of cruise around, see some sightseeing, some tourist spots. This is great for that. If you want to do some off-roading, might not be your best bet, but if you're just going off-road on some gravel, I mean, maybe if you got some better tires and upgrade the suspension, you'd probably be doing pretty well.
It has great fuel range. You know, that's part of the reason that I chose it, because I didn't want to have to stop for fuel often or be worried about fuel, because you never know in a country you're not used to riding in if you're going to be able to stop anywhere you want and get fuel. It's not necessarily going to be ample. And so I think you could get it on 200 miles per tank, which is great. So I would actually, if you were to compare this bike, I would actually compare it closely to the Honda CRF 300. Granted, the Honda has more range and is more off-road capable, but it depends on your bias, right? The BMW is a more road-biased bike, and you'll have to invest in that bike if you want to make it more off-road worthy. And that's kind of my only complaint really about the BMW, is I felt it was a great bike. If you're looking for a lightweight bike that's not intimidating to ride, it's very beginner friendly. If you're looking for your first motorcycle, this is a great choice because it's very user friendly. I never once felt like it was it's mild tempered. If you give it throttle, it's just going to behave like it's supposed to. It's not going to spin out and do wheelies. It's just going to do what it's supposed to do and just let you have the throttle. And actually it wants a lot of throttle. That was another one of my observations I should say, is that it does require more throttle than you feel it should be necessary, because it's really got kind of a mid-range response, and so if you're giving it a lot of input on the throttle, it will actually go faster. I'm used to riding the KLR 650, and on a KLR 650, you kind of want them to be low on the throttle. They don't really, they're very torquey bikes, right? And so they don't really give you you don't have to give it much for it to just kind of tractor along. But with a BMW 310, it wants a lot of input, and so it's not a problem. But just realize that you got to ride it more like a street bike and give it a lot of throttle. That's just kind of how the bike is set, how the engine works. It's got a mid-range power band. So, not a complaint, just a realization after a couple of days of riding that the bike needs a little more input. Beyond that, I said the only complaint that I was able to come up with was, does the bike handle off-road well? And that answer was, from the factory settings, I would say no. It comes from the factory with a non-adjustable, very stiff suspension. So the dampeners are very stiff, and that means it's biased for a road operation. You want stiff suspension when you're handling lots of corners at high speeds. And so if you were wanting to make this into more of an adventure bike and actually go off-road, from the factory you can handle graded gravel roads. That's going to be fine.
Okay, GS, please get me up this barely muddy hill and kind of a little bit rocky hill without incident.
But if you want to go on actual, let's say you want to ride through Africa, for example, or you want to ride through South America, those are places where you're going to want to invest in a more off-road worthy suspension system and, better tires, of course. I would also suggest crash bars. And so my option, if you went, check out Rally Raid, for example. They've got a nice modification for the BMW 310 GS. And so I've priced it out. If I was to buy a BMW 310 GS, I would have to invest about $3,000 to make it what I consider to be off-road worthy. That's not bad. Almost every motorcycle requires some kind of investment. My KLR, I think I put, a bit over about $1,500 into it, And so you just have to double that for the BMW. I don't count tires only because you can always wear the tires out before you actually change them. And so if you subtract the cost of new tires, it's a little bit less. But if you want off-road worthiness, you do need better tires than the factory will give you, which are street tires. That's fine. Just, like I said, it gives you a chance to break it in before you want to break it off-road, we'll say. So yeah, you'll want new crash bars, you're going to want new suspension, and you're going to want new tires. Not a whole lot to invest on some of my Japan adventures. On some of my Japan adventures, what I did observe was that if I hit a pothole in the road with factory settings, because I'm on a rental bike, so there's no modifications, of course. But if I hit a pothole, because the suspension was so stiff, the rear end would actually bounce out of the pothole and it would skid a little bit, and that's kind of dangerous, honestly. And that's an example of off-road performance that's not performing. And so, because you can't adjust the rear suspension from factory, you have to replace that with a aftermarket part to make it absorb potholes better. So, not a big deal. But yeah, realistically though, if you're looking for a bike, beginner bike, or maybe you're an old timer who just wants one that's just a mild-mannered bike that doesn't require a lot of work to ride, the BMW 310 is great. I actually really like the bike. It's probably not right for me now since I already own a KLR 650. But I would consider it actually, honestly, if I was to even replace it, I almost would consider that. I would definitely rent it again. If I go to Japan, I would definitely rent the BMW 310 again. Would I replace my current bike with it? No, I would almost add it to the fleet because, the biggest complaint I have about my KLR 650, just as an example, is that it's not very comfortable for long road rides. Like, if you're going to be doing any kind of highway time, it's not the bike of choice for that. And the BMW performs better on highways. It's just a comfortable bike to be on in general. And did I mention it's a lot of fun in the corners? I mean, that bike it corners like a street bike. It's a lot of fun in the corners. Definitely its best asset.
I think this is kind of designed for a beginner type rider or just someone who just wants an easy to ride bike with a street bias. Maybe if you're going to spend 20 or 30% of your time on gravel roads, maybe this bike might be for you. Check out the rice paddies. Cool. Wow, check that out. But yeah, it's a good bike. I like the GS. I would rent it again. Let's put it that way. I would rent this bike again next time I come to Japan.